If you ever get to a point, which we all do, right? We all hit ceilings of achievement, ceilings of environments or spaces. Think about, rethink your why. Why not, right? I mean, we change as people every single day from experiences, from people who we surround ourselves with. We change every day. So why not be able to change our why as we evolve?
All right, guys, here we go now. It is time to unlock more doors to deals. We're real estate investors here. We're real estate agents here, and we all have one thing in common. We believe that we can. We can live the life of our purpose. We can create financial freedom. We can build a better life for those that we love, and we can live the life of our dreams. I don't care if you're trying to do your first deal or your 500th this year. You can get to the next level, and we're here to help. Welcome to Doors to Deals. I'm your host and founder, Jim Manning. Today's episode can be found on doorstodeals.com/059. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. We have an exciting episode. Today, we have a first-generation immigrant who used to be a bartender who was able to leave that industry and become a full-time real estate agent on the call. Nida started out as an agent, and for the past 2 years now has been doing really well. She joined 3 Doors about 7 months ago. And here's the cool thing. She's no longer a typical real estate agent that just helps people buy and sell houses. In the past 7 months, she's already completed 2 flips, one of which is about to make her $140,000 when it closes here this month. So she's a rock star, guys. And I couldn't be more proud of her. I couldn't be more proud of her accomplishments, not only where she's been, but where I know she's going. And I personally got a lot of value out of this conversation, and I know you will as well. So Nida shares at the very end of it a brilliant question that she constantly asked herself that has been a big part of her success. And I really enjoyed the discussion that we had around this topic and got a lot of value out of it. And I think you guys will as well. So before we get started, guys, a couple announcements here about some of the resources that we have to help you unlock more doors to deals. 3 Doors Funding has access to over $20 million of cash, and it lends out right here in St. Louis. Go to doorstodeals.com and click on the funding link for more information there. If you're a wholesaler, email us what you got. Email us deals, DEALS, at 3doors.com. We may have, if it fits our buy criteria, we can buy it for top dollar, and in some cases up to 95% of the after repair value if it fits our specific buying criteria. And if it doesn't fit our specific buying criteria, we have built relationships with exclusive buyers, whether those are on a national level looking for turnkey properties or on a local level. We've vetted and approved these buyers, and they can also pay top dollar for your properties. So long story short, we lately, over the past couple of years, have been putting together deals that I previously would have thought were dead. So send us over all your deals. Even if you think it's a dead deal, we can take a look at it and maybe do a deal together. So, and for you agents listening in, this actually doesn't matter where you live. You don't have to live in St. Louis. Over the past year, we've been on pace to sell over $80 million in real estate, and it's by attracting the right relationships to us. So we have a challenge where we're going to show you how to create 5 key relationships for your business that will generate you $5 million in sales volume every single year, like clockwork. So all you have to do is just go to doorstodeals.com and click on the challenge link for more information about the next one that's coming. So reach out to us, guys. Hopefully we can do a deal soon. And all right, no more talk from me. Let's get started on the interview. All right, guys. Hey, we got Nida on the line here. And normally I introduce the guests, but I think it's more appropriate to have Caleb introduce this one. So Caleb, take us away, buddy.
How's it going, Jim? Thanks so much. Hey, today we have Nida on. Nida is a 2-year now real estate agent. She's been investing for about 7 months. Her results have been absolutely amazing. She's turned out to be a complete rock star in the time. She's also my business partner too, so I'm excited to bring her on today. So we have Nida. How's it going, Nida?
It's going great. Thank you for that amazing introduction. It is going awesome. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about, like, I know you have, I know a lot about your background, but the audience doesn't. So tell us about your childhood and kind of what brought you to real estate and what brought you to the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll kind of backtrack all the way to my childhood. My parents came here and they were immigrants from Turkey. So we're our first generation immigrants here. We moved in the year 2000. So as you can imagine, we had substantial changes in our life, culture, religion, food, lifestyle, and most importantly, the biggest thing was opportunity. So my parents decided to change countries for opportunity, which is still a big reason why I am constantly chasing opportunity. So they came here with a few grand in their pocket. As you can imagine, currency right now is $1 is 8.56 lira. So in 2000, that was $1 was 4 or 5 lira. So they had to work quadruple as hard in order to earn the money to be able to come here and start a new life. So, I remember my parents going to garage sales growing up and Goodwill to furnish our house. We had first lived in an apartment. We couldn't afford to purchase a house. So growing up, I watched how social and involved my dad was and my parents were with people who helped us build this life. And one of these people was a real estate agent. So my dad and her became really close friends. They built a key relationship together, and she sent him deals and he started to flip houses on the side, which is how I started, my passion for design and kind of learning a lot about real estate along the way. And so after a few years of my dad doing that, he bought our first house, which my mom and dad actually house hacked that. So that was the first time I watched a house hack happening. And that was when I was about 10 or 11. So I started expressing my love for interior design then. My dad ran a lot of questions through me. And so anytime he would want to design our homes that we house hacked or deals that he wanted to flip, I was heavily involved in the creative process of design, not even thinking about being able to do this for a living as a kid. All I knew was that I was having a great time. I was so happy with my family and I was doing what I loved. So flash forward, if you want me to continue about, sort of how I got into real estate.
Hey, really quick, Nita, how old were you again when your parents moved? Were you born yet, or
I was 7, so
7? Okay.
I didn't know any English. I learned English through my friend's school, SpongeBob. And my brother was baby; he was in diapers, so he learned English and Turkish at the same time. But it was all new for me.
So then in a 3-year span, your dad really started investing in real estate. Okay.
For sure. Yeah. He built a lot of connections and key relationships that said, hey, you need to invest in real estate and purchase a house. And here's what he didn't have no idea what a credit score was. He's like, what's a credit score? I can't just, save up money and, do this. And so we had to learn everything from the very beginning. So it took a while to build.
Okay, cool.
Still,
yeah, go ahead, Kale.
In 3 years, that's fantastic that he was able
to. He busted his butt and we watched all of it.
Halfway across the world, build a credit score and be able to buy a house, the house hack for his family. And that's it. People all the time want to make excuses and say, I can't do this. It takes time. And that's a perfect example of like hard work and patience and staying consistent over time. We'll be able to accomplish big things. Okay, so your dad gets his first house hack. You kind of start to get interested about real estate. Continue forward because I know there's some more cool stuff in there.
Yeah, so I was so interested in design and real estate, and I really just listened to my dad work with his realtor, and he loved real estate, so I really got into it. But, from the time of when I was 10 to 15 to 16 in my teenage years, until the mid-college, there was sort of a gap of what do I want to do? My parents were wanting to, came from another country, so there was all this expectation of becoming a dentist or a doctor. I actually went to SIUE for dental school and quickly realized I can't do blood. I passed out. I said, okay, I can't do this. So flash forward, 8 years. Once I got into college, I jumped from degree to degree, not being fulfilled by any particular class besides design, art, welding. Believe it or not, I have a minor in welding. I loved business classes, and I spent 6 years in college and finally ended up listening to my gut, my friends, and I chose to go for interior design, which is how I got interested in real estate again, and that spark sort of just ignited. So at that point, my parents were just, ready to see any sort of certificate, whether it was either said, graduated, not graduated, or whatever. So I did graduate. But after college, I knew that I wanted to grow a business for sure. I knew I wanted interior design to be a part of that. I didn't know how exactly. So I took some time. I started bartending, and I also became a kitchen and bath designer at Home Depot. And now looking back, I realized that helped me so much build those key relationships with many successful people in my community. Bartending allowed me to get to know my community on a very high level. And being a kitchen and bath designer allowed me to network and tap into the design world again. So that's when I really got reintroduced back into real estate and decided to get my license.
Gotcha. So you get your license, you start out. What'd you do your first 6 months?
So my first 6 months was just hustling and grinding and trying to figure out where I belonged. I knew I wanted to start and build a business, but I quickly realized in those 6 months that I didn't want to do it alone. And I made the decision to join a team because I wasn't finding much value in being a solo agent. And I wanted to be with a group of people that provided value for me, then that in the future I can pay forward and help others in the same way. So I decided to join your real estate team, which was one of the best decisions I'd ever made. And, it was just growth from there until I also joined the Three Doors Network.
Yeah. And then I think your first year in real estate, before we partnered with Three Doors, you closed what, like 35 units as your first year?
Yeah, I was just looking over this yesterday. So 35 transactions, my first year. And bigger goals every year. So hopefully there'll be more this year, along with the flips that we're currently now doing as well.
And I think something important to note into that, guys, is a lot of you're like, well, I moved to an area, like I can't be successful. Nida didn't grow up in Edwardsville. She grew up in Springfield, 2 hours north of here. And so, there's anyone listening, you can be successful in real estate, whether it's an investor or not, even if you're not from that area. It's just about making connections and networking and meeting the right people. That's one thing I want to highlight about her is she's not from here. She didn't grow up in Edwardsville. Now, me, I'm an Edwardsville native. I've born, raised, lived in Madison County my whole life. It doesn't matter if you were born somewhere or not. You can still be successful. You just have to network harder.
Yes, my area code is still 217. I still get crap about it. And I still have I'm able to say, hey guys, I'm a local now. So.
Yeah. So you finish up your first year. I know you're blowing me up. I want to flip a house. And I hadn't done many deals. And then I was doing Abner because I had kind of taken a break just to build my agent business from investing. And I was getting back into investing and wanting to do more deals. And we partnered on Abner, which cool little story. You can talk about that a little bit. We've been very consistent about outpricing neighborhoods. So tell us about that. Tell us how through your design and some of the stuff you've done that you've been able to consistently outprice neighborhoods.
Yeah, so the biggest factor to that is obviously you make money when you find a deal. So finding a house that's in a very sought after neighborhood is obviously the goal. But with Abner, Caleb had come to me for some design help. It was actually his flip. And so I said, you know what, let me just take this on. Let me just design this house. Let me pick everything. Let's just do it. Let's go for it. And I convinced him to spend a little bit extra. And I said, we will get this return. If we go the extra mile, we're going to get the extra mile. So I just decided to put quality materials into the project, spent some time really thinking about how families would use the space, and just did what I loved again. And Abner was an amazing success. And it just, it proved to have great profit, and we quickly wanted to do another flip together again. So we were just after that next deal.
So we've done a few now. Let's talk about Timberlake. That's the one I really want to dive into. So tell us about Timberlake, how the deal was found, how you worked it, and just give us all the numbers on that deal. And
yeah, so this is a deal I'm very excited about. So to give you guys an example of it, we're wrapping it up right now, 808 Timberlake in Edwardsville. It's a gorgeous 4-bedroom, 5-bathroom house in Edwardsville. Private wooded lot, stunning pool. it was on the MLS and it was just not having success selling. And this deal, I wouldn't have been able to get it without Three Doors Network for a few crucial reasons. And one was that I am starting to build key relationships, and I say that a lot, but with other agents. And, I had started telling them that I could buy their listings with cash with Three Doors funding so that they didn't lose the deal. They would still get their commission. The seller would still be able to sell, and we would be purchasing a property that we can, flip and design and have the opportunity to be able to use funding to design that house as well. So it was just networking with agent in our market center who, came to us and said, hey, I know that you may be able to do something with this house. Let's see what we can do to figure out what the seller is truly wanting out of this deal. So there was a lot of negotiating that was involved, and it turned out that she just wanted quick cash. She wanted to move back to her country, and we asked the right questions, and we got a great deal from it. The agent was happy, who we networked with, because he still got his commission. The deal was closed, and we had a beautiful home in this amazing neighborhood that was so outdated, just dying to be reborn. So we spent a good bit of chunk bringing this house back to life. I finally convinced Caleb to let me paint the exterior. And it's been such an amazing journey. And as for profit, 808 Timberlake is set to close next week over asking for a whopping profit of $150,000. We outbeat that neighborhood by $100,000.
I just want to highlight that deal came off the MLS, guys. So as we talk about relationships and being relational, and there's deals on the MLS. It's just about talking to the right people and knowing the right people, and you can make big profits on deals that are with life-changing money. I mean, that to me, that's the most amazing story. And it was a pretty cut and dry flip too, because it was a newer home that had just been outdated, and it was just asking the right questions and figuring out what the seller needed and how much money they needed. And we were able to solve that problem. And then we took a $450,000 neighborhood and sold the house at $560 because we did the work on it. We spent the money on the house.
So what's interesting, guys, is that's actually one of the things I don't necessarily have ever understood about realtors or real estate agents. Cause I've always been an investor first who's also licensed. And yes, I've sold several hundred listings throughout my career, just on the listing side. But if I got a good opportunity, it always made sense for me to buy it, right, and take advantage. I have a friend, literally just an hour ago, I had a meeting. A friend came in and said, yeah, an agent brought him a deal. It was listed on the MLS for 163. He realized that it was underlisted, so he bought it for 163. Didn't do anything. It was a smokehouse. Didn't even put a can of paint on the MLS. Turned around and put it up for 200,000 and made a 25K profit on it. And then the conversation we were having was, he was like, why? Neither one of us got why didn't the agent that had this opportunity just buy the thing? Right. So take me into Nida, so you're doing these flips now. You just made $150,000. Abner was a great deal too, as well, as far as these profitable deals, right? Before you started doing the flips and kind of getting into the Three Doors world where, this is more commonplace here, right? What was going on in your head about investing? You knew you wanted to do the interior design, but why up to that point had you not started to buy houses? What was happening?
So why had I not bought houses? I couldn't afford it. I didn't have the funds available. Maybe I didn't do enough research. I didn't try to seek those funds either. However, being in college for 6 years, I accumulated quite a bit of debt. And so investing and having passive income and building financial wealth had always been a big priority of mine, because I wanted to get those paid off so much. And I wasn't aware, as, being surrounded by a network of people who had the knowledge and who gave me value, and they had the daily habits that I needed to have in my life in order to build financial wealth for my future. It just helped me grow so much as a person. And before, I didn't have that network. I didn't have those people in my life. I didn't have the training or mentors. My dad always said growing up, if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room unless you're coaching or you're teaching. So go find another room. Go find a bigger room. Go find a bigger door. And so I was always actively searching for opportunity because I couldn't pay off $150,000 of debt working a 50K salary. I didn't need a ceiling. My only ceiling has been my mindset ever in this industry. And I try to push myself as much as I can in order to grow. And the thing that I didn't have before was a network of people who can always push me to be my best.
So I couldn't afford it was one of the beliefs you had, and that shuts you down from even thinking about
one. Yeah.
Was there anything else, or was that the main one?
That was the main one. I mean, that was a big factor, right? I don't have the money to do it. I don't also have the knowledge to do it. Was another one. Okay, I want to do this flip. I know I watched my dad doing it growing up, but the biggest difference with my dad flipping houses and with me flipping houses right now is I get done in 3 months working with amazing contractors, not doing any of the work myself. My dad took 6 to 8 months flipping one house, doing all the work himself. Sweat equity, yes, but he was so exhausted, so tired, and he didn't have the people or the knowledge or the training to be able to step away and have partners that did the work for him. And those relationships that he hadn't built those relationships. So he is now amazed, at our network too. He always asks about our team and everything because it's really amazing network to tap into.
Gotcha. So then just not having the couple of the knowledge. Yeah, I always get really curious about that. And I think part of it is like, Caleb, we were just talking the other day about that St. Charles property that could have been a listing, but we turned into a long-term rental that we might make $100,000 on, that zero credit and $0 of our own money. Like when I bought my first house ever, my first place, like I talked my parents into co-signing with me and having a long-term buy and hold house hack where they helped me financially because I didn't have the money. So and then Caleb, you tell the story of what episode is that? The third episode on this podcast where like your business was about to go under and you didn't have any money left, but then you talked a financial partner into coming back. And you remember that?
Yeah. So I pretty early on in my career, after my third flip, I think it was, I was losing my ass on the third deal I ever did, and I wasn't going to be able to flip houses anymore. And luckily, I went out and searched out and found somebody to fund my deals. I think it's just important to ask the right questions, guys, and find the right people, because if you're not doing deals, you have a talent or a person problem, is my guess. And they're out there. You just have to go out and search it out. And for Nida, it was she wasn't a solo person. She needed to be on a team. She needed people to push her, because together we all accomplish more.
Yeah, and I guess you didn't know what you didn't know at that point. So then, like, right. Yeah, that makes total sense.
And the crazy thing, the Timberlake deal to me, like, that was another, like, so this is what's unbelievable to me. I'm going to go into this for a second. We actually approached that agent to join our expansion network. And he's like, I just don't see that I would be profitable through this. I don't see where it would be beneficial for me to do that for the fee. And I was like, it's so small. What are you talking about? I was like, you do one house and you 5x your money. And he's like, I don't see it. So the day that deal closes, I'm actually going to call that agent and be like, hey, by the way, this house that you sold me that you could have the knowledge and money to do, we made 150 grand on.
Yeah, you could have made it yourself. You could have done it.
Yeah, but
you didn't have the right people around you.
Yeah, you didn't invest in yourself. So I think you just make sure you guys are investing in yourselves, and these deals are going to keep coming up too.
Be open to opportunity. Ask questions. Don't turn opportunity down. It may not be for you, but at least listen and have the ability to be open to new opportunities that come your way, because you have the choice to say yes or no. It doesn't go towards my passion or my one thing.
So Nita, what would you say were some of the biggest obstacles and hurdles you had to overcome starting out in real estate, being someone that, English isn't your first language, or you weren't from this area? What were some of your biggest struggles?
So, obviously real estate, people tend to, it seems like when you're first starting, people tend to trust you more if you know more of the area. So the lack of knowledge was definitely a struggle at first. So I definitely tried to teach myself and surround myself, as I said before, with others who can mentor me. That was one challenge. Another challenge was, of course, when you first start in real estate, you don't make money right away. So you have to have the drive, you have to have the determination, and that future seeing, future vision of, okay, what I did today will pay off in the next month. What I do now will pay off in 30 days. What I do now, cash may pay off in 2 weeks, right? So I had to keep pushing myself that I'm going to need to invest in myself, because if I don't invest in myself, no one's going to want to invest in me. And that was how I kept going. But, another thing I will say is, quickly I started cutting some people out of my life, because not everyone wants to see you grow. And when you start to succeed and when you start to do big things, there will be some people in your life that won't always believe in you and have negative talk. So surrounding myself with positive people and, people who wanted to see me succeed, who I wanted to see them succeed, was also another priority of mine going into a career, from a job to a career.
Yeah, it's such an interesting shift to come out of like more of a corporate, or you were in the bartending world, to go into real estate where you make your own hours. You really have to want it bad, guys. You do have to want it bad. So what's next steps? What are you working on now? What are your goals?
So my goals are bigger than ever. My biggest goal is to pay off my student loans of $150,000. I'm on track to pay it off in just 2 years, be done with it. So maybe less than 2 years. It depends on, the moves that I want to make. But right now, we just currently bought with Caleb, and myself. I have 2 flips in the pipeline. We're currently working on 2 right now. I also have, I'm helping buyers and sellers and investors still make moves. I still really love to work with buyers and sellers. And I'm just really tapping into my database, my friends, my family, and doing anything I can to help build their life too for financial success.
I love that. Paying off your student loans has got to be the greatest feeling ever.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's stressful to think about paying it off when you first start, but once you get a plan, once you have it in front of you, which I finally do, once I get those paid off, it's all 100% go from there. And my goal is to have as much passive income as I can, so that I can give my future family the life that my parents always wanted me to have.
And your parents too, right?
And my parents, absolutely. Travel is my biggest thing. So I just, I want to see the world. I want my kids to see the world, and my parents to see the world too.
So we talk about like whys a lot on here, and I think we kind of started to get into your why a little bit. So I want to, Jim, do you want to go, if you want to go that direction?
That was my next question. So
I was like,
saying that, I was like, oh, Caleb and I are like connected at the hip on this one. Yeah. Go for it.
We can't talk about whys enough. And if you guys don't like it, then sorry, just click off. So what is your big why, Nida? And how has it changed over the years?
Hey guys, for those of you that are local to St. Louis, I wanted to make sure you knew about an amazing resource that we have to help do some extra deals. You can email our team at deals@3doors.com. And just so you know, we do deals with other investors all the time. Like, it's been hundreds and hundreds over the years, and we've averaged over 100 deals with other investors per year for over the last 5 years. We can straight up buy the deal if you have a wholesale under contract that you want to sell. If you need funding to finance a flip, or like you're doing a burst strategy, we have funding available for you. If you're trying to wholesale a deal, we're doing JV wholesale deals with other wholesalers that, quite frankly, some of the deals we're putting together for a beginner or an intermediate investor, they'd probably be walking away from, because we have systems and processes and we have buyers in place that are paying top dollar for these properties. So make sure you use this resource. And the best way to get and the easiest way is to just send us an email, deals@3doors.com. All right, back to the episode.
What is your big why, Nida, and how has it changed over the years?
So I didn't even really start thinking about my big why until I joined, Keller Williams, because that's their big thing. And so last year and the year before that, my biggest why, and it still tends to, it stays to be true, but I have developed it and grown, and now I have a more specific why. But in the past, my why was, being able to give my parents the life that they deserve, because they work their butts off. They're still, paycheck to paycheck people, and I want to help them build passive income as well, and to just give that back, because they gave up family, they gave up their home just to come here for opportunities and education for me and my brother. And so that's a big part of why I do what I do. Specifically, my big why for myself, and why I like to design and do things, is I love to create spaces for families, people, individuals who will make new memories and just thrive in an environment. And it's, building spaces for individuals and families is so important to me, because if you think about being home and what home means to you, being able to give that feeling to someone is so important and so near and dear to my heart, that's my big why. And so flipping houses, designing and transforming an empty box into this beautiful, functional home is such an amazing transformation to see, and to give, families that opportunity to enjoy that space and make memories for a long period of time is my big why, and why I do what I do.
So one thing I want to highlight there, and I think we talked about this in previous episodes, and a lot of people always feel bad, like, oh, my why is I want to make money to survive or whatever. And one of my coaches told me the other day that I really wanted to share on here is there's actually 3 types of whys, guys. There's your survival why, which is I have to make enough money to survive. I need to provide for my children. And then as you go into, Nida's kind of her other why, if I want to build spaces for people, that's what it makes Nida feel successful, is Nida is building spaces for people they love. And then kind of another why she had was, I want to provide for my family. I want to give my parents the life that they want and that they need. And that's kind of a significance why. And it's important to understand, as you guys are thinking about your big why, that there's 3 types. You have your survival, success, and significance. And those whys can change at any time when you accomplish one of them. There's nothing wrong with having a survival why at all. And we're all on different rungs on the ladder. So it does not matter what yours is. It's just important that you have one.
Yeah. And what I would say is, if you ever get to a point, which we all do, right? We all hit ceilings of achievement, ceilings of environments or spaces. Think about, rethink your why. Why not, right? I mean, we change as people every single day, from experiences, from people who we surround ourselves with. We change every day. So why not be able to change our why as we evolve and as we develop into the best version of ourselves? Why not develop a better why?
Yeah, there's a quote that I love. The same man never enters a river twice. I love that. Like, people are just, we're constantly changing, constantly growing, right? So, we've worked quite a bit here recently, Nita, just kind of on like vision and kind of thinking through your life and kind of like what you want out of it. And do you have any like takeaways from really kind of trying to map out like your vision, or anything that's kind of came out of that you think is important to share?
My biggest thing was, I think, through our meetings, was actually sitting down and really thinking, taking the time to think through that next step. A lot of times the answer is so simple to our problems. When we just sit down and for a few minutes think about certain outcomes or what we really want, we can simplify our goals, and really create a clear vision for our lives once we really think about what's truly important to us and our values and what we want out of life, out of business. And so for me, you asking the right questions about my vision and, okay, certain goals, really, I gave myself the opportunity to think about what I really wanted and the life that I wanted to have. So I adjusted my vision, or I adjusted my journey and my map in order to fit my vision that I have for my future and that, what I'm striving after.
Yeah,
So just
what's interesting about it, guys, what I've found is a lot of times, like if I'm stuck or I like can't make a decision on something, I'm not sure which way to turn. Do I turn right or left? I used to think that it was like a motivation thing. Like, well, why am I not motivated on this? Why can't I get going on this project or get going on whatever it is that has me stuck? And what I know now is that the majority of the time it has nothing to do with motivation. It has nothing to do with being kind of like that paralyzed feeling that just has you, I can't do anything. It has it's more to do with it's fuzzy. You're not sure what I want, or you're not sure, should I make a left turn or a right turn? I'm at a crossroads, so like by getting crystal clear on exactly what the path is and this could be just, hey, you haven't done your first deal. You're looking for your first buy. Well, what's the exact definition of success, the exact buy box, exact buy criteria that you're going to have for your first purchase?
yeah.
Get crystal clear. And when you get clear, that clarity gives you power. It gives you the ability to make those decisions and go all in and go down a path, win, lose, or draw, like at least you're not stuck at that crossroads, right? So that's neat that you said that. Like I've seen that happen with a lot of people too. So, okay. So tangent, Jim's, I have to get a tangent in on every one of these episodes. That's my tangent of the day. Okay. So if you were, so you've really only been doing this thing 2 years, right?
2 years, yes. July 17th is when I started at KW. So
My,
I've only been investing for about 7 months.
okay. And you've been investing for 7 months and you've had 2 just kind of grand slam deals.
3.
So normally I ask the question, hey, what advice would you give yourself 5 years ago? But let's do like if you had to give yourself one piece of advice 2 years ago before you got into real estate, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh boy. That's a tough one. I would probably say be open to change and seek value, seek opportunity more, and take more risks. We're different people as we were last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I would say, get your butt out of college and go into real estate, right? Just avoid the debt. But I would just say be open to change and remember that everything, I still say this to myself, everything does happen for a reason, as cliche as that sounds. And learn to let go of people and things that don't make you happy, is what I would say.
Nida, what has real estate taught you about overcoming adversity?
It really has taught me that you can do it. You can do it if you invest in yourself. And it's taught me to read more books. It's taught me to actively seek individuals and mentors. It's taught me that the difference from people that succeed at a high level versus people that don't, they're the ones that learn from their failures. They get up and they go forward. That's what you do. Yeah, it's really a mindset.
Yeah, no, you could talk all day about mindset, right, Nina?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, because I feel Caleb and I think Jim too, we're we're dreamers. Well, I know Caleb is. Jim, I'm still getting to know you, but you're very, successful, and I think you have you have amazing ideas. But I am a shifting dreamer, so I'll always want to add to my business. I'll tap into new opportunities, stride towards passive income, so that I can give my family the appreciation of hard work and lifestyle. So if I'm a shifting dreamer, I have to be able to shift my mindset as well. Because if I don't shift my mindset, I can't shift my life.
Yeah, I love that. Jim, what else you got?
Tell me more on like the shifting of your mindset, like for example.
It's so much harder than it sounds, doesn't it? I mean, it's an everyday thing. You have to, it comes down to daily habits. And I know Caleb talks about this a lot. Building successful daily habits. How many days of something do you have to do until it becomes a daily habit, Caleb?
66 days is what
66 days. And that's why we have this thing called 66-day challenge, where we try to add a new habit to our daily lives every single day. But once you do that, it helps, and when it helps change your mindset so much. But you also have to change your mindset in order to bring in new habits into your life. But it involves changing your habits, involves a lot of determination, and you can get that by leaning on your team members and your friends. And you can ask someone, you can say, hey, can I hold you accountable to text me every morning at 6 o'clock so that I can go work out? What do you need accountability in your life for? What can I do for you? And that maybe that's avoiding dessert every night, or, so shifting your mindset is really, it involves a lot of self, but it does involve a lot of, it can involve help from the people around you as well. Being open to change, like I said.
I like that you went into the accountability about building habits, because I'm like, that's my big kick right now. It's like being habit based, and you have to have a coach and somebody to hold you accountable, guys, because if you're not held accountable, you'll never form those great habits. You won't keep your mindset in check. You need somebody who's not related to you, not family member to really be your shoulder to lean on, but also be that person that can check you when you're not doing the things you need to do.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I love the mindset conversation. I love how you guys are into it too. We really connected on that. I had it's interesting of what you think really expands. Like that's like is that a Keller Williams saying too?
Yes.
Bold law.
Keller Williams saying too. And so like I was talking with a mentor, and he had someone else that was a friend of his, and the person's an alcoholic. Before they go to bed, before they get home from work, his wife doesn't know, and he takes a shot of alcohol, and takes a shot or two, then gets home, and then has 4 or 6 beers that just literally every single day, and it's becoming a problem. And my mentor asked his friend, and he said, hey, well, what are you thinking about? And he says, well, I'm thinking about how I need to give up alcohol. And he said, oh, if what you think expands, and you're thinking that you need to give up alcohol, where now alcohol's on your mind constantly, and that's a fight that you're probably not going to win. So he said, okay, well what happens when you're drinking alcohol? Are you connected or not as connected to your wife as you want to be? Oh, I'm not as connected. Do you hug and give her a kiss? Well, no, I don't, because I have alcohol in my breath. I can't do that when I get home. I'm too, so it creates this division in his marriage. He says, well, if you gave up alcohol, what does that create? What's the end benefit that it gets for your life? Well, I'd be more connected with my wife. I'll be able to, have the marriage that I always want. And he said, well, what you have to do is stop thinking about how you need to give up alcohol and start thinking about what giving up alcohol will do for you. And by doing that, he's had a lot of success, because now he doesn't constantly have alcohol in his mind. What he has on his mind is I'm going to get home and I'm going to feel amazing. I'm going to feel an amazing connection with my wife, because I'm going to be able to give her a hug and a kiss. So I'm not going to take a detour to the liquor store first.
I love that.
Because what you think expands. And if you're thinking, I don't know how to do my first deal, what you think expands. If you're, or if you're like what do you think the billionaires are thinking of the world, right? They're thinking about, how do I get to the next level? What do I need to do? It's not
all they're focused on is solving the next problem. What is the next big problem I have to solve?
It's so amazing to me that with one change of vocabulary in a sentence, you can shift your mindset. Instead of thinking, I don't want to drink, you think, I want to be sober, or just shifting that sentence just a little bit with a few words can change your mindset so much. Instead of focusing on the negative, focusing on the positive and what you want to accomplish, not what you want to change.
Yeah, and let's do this, guys. Let's put the coaching hat on. And Nida doesn't need this now because she's already doing it, right? But 2 years ago, Nida says, I can't afford investing. What if you change that statement to, how can I afford to invest? How might I afford to do this? And it doesn't have to be your money. Can you find a partner? Can you find somebody like a Three Doors Funding that has money for people to invest with?
Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change.
And then that changes your entire life. The path that you can go on and the results that you can get. My goodness. And so when we talk, and it gets a little bit old, so for some people, I think, with mindset, but 90% of the games, guys, is mindset. Whether you want to admit it or not, how we think is how we're going to end up, is going to be the source of it all. And to get to the results that you want and the life that you want, it starts right between the ears. It all does.
It's so amazing to me. My most successful friends and the people growing the fastest are the people that have the best mindsets. Today, with how the world's shifting and stuff, as you look at people like, oh, the world's awful, I can't be successful. I've never seen a successful person say, I can't be successful. All of my successful friends are like, you don't even know. Like, I'm not even near where I'm going to be. Like, their mindsets are 5 years ahead of where they are now. And it creates actions, and it creates habits, and it makes them so much more positive. And some people are like, well, I'm just not that person. That you're not that person because you say you're not that person.
Yeah. Does a fish know it's in water? I mean, that's one of the most beautiful blessings that immigrants can constantly remind us of, guys, is they come here and they see the opportunities because they grew up and they didn't have them. Americans, we grow up and we just take it for granted, and we have no, it's just like, oh, well, this is just what it's all about, right? Like, Nida, you're going to say something. Go ahead.
I was going to say, just along with that quote, I heard a quote a couple months ago is saying that if you're inside the peanut butter cup, you can't read the label from the inside. I don't know. I'm all about American sayings. I think they're hilarious because they're so funny to me. But I mean, you're so right about that, because, and I just pulled this up. This is one of my favorites, but it says, watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, because they become your habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. Watch your character, for they become your destiny. What we think, we become.
Margaret Thatcher.
I love that.
My favorites too.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. Hey, so the only last question I have for you, Nida, is you're a really talented salesperson. Like, you're able to get people to build rapport and trust and kind of get to the closing table, so to speak. Can you tell me a little bit about kind of like your style and what works for you? Why you're able to have so much success?
What I do with my clients and my clientele is to take myself out of the equation and to just really think about what's going to make their life better. How can I make this transaction smoother and better and easier for them? How can I add value to their life and help them in any way that they can, so that we can keep our connection? And, this might be funny, but every client that I, meet who, I feel like I vibe with, that we work together, I add on Facebook right away, because I want to get to know them and get to know their family and their life, and I want them to get to know me. And building those relationships for me is so important. They're not just a lead to me, they're a human being. And so my style and keeping clients happy and building my database is really just about focusing on my relationships with those people and really investing in them, asking questions about them and caring for them. And for me, that builds loyalty and trust and lasting relationships. It's super important to me to congratulate them on their 1-year anniversary in their home, or if they have issues after they purchase their house for some reason, to be able to help and assist in any way that I can, if they need contractors or things like that. So I want to keep that relationship. It's not just a transaction to me. It's a people-based business.
So, Caleb, we've been talking a lot about this recently. What would I'm going to get back to this, Nida. In one sentence, what would you say the secret of business is?
Adding more value than the other guy.
Adding more value than the other guy. And so, like, what Nida's doing here, guys, is, like, she's playing the game that so many of us don't even want to admit is actually what business is all about. Like, we want to just think, oh, well, I just want to get a house under contract. Well, how do you add more value than the other guy? So when she's constantly asking herself, how can I add value into their life? The result of that question is she's getting a closer friendship. She's truly caring about what their needs are. She's truly caring about what their families are up to. And the result is she's legitimately adding more value than what other people that are meeting her are adding. And so, I mean, it becomes a no-brainer. Of course they're going to work with Nida, because she's the one taking the time to really add more value and help them make their life better. And value, guys, doesn't have to be a listing contract, a house under contract. Value could be you're talking to a couple and the couple is sad about being an empty nester, and you listen and you buy them a book about coping with being an empty nester. And that can have nothing to do with real estate, and yet be something that puts you over the edge, that picks up a client for life for you because you took the time to listen. Nida, I love that. I mean, keep doing that. You do that one thing, you're going to be able to, you're going to do a lot more than pay off your student debt in a year. And you'll be able to do whatever the heck you want. It's just like, if you think about the amount of friendships that you have, I've always been the type of person that I'd rather have 6 super close friends that I can trust than, have 20, 30, 40 friends who, wouldn't think twice to turn their back on me. And just like with clients and my database, I would rather pour into, a few select amount of people that like me and I like them, and that we can work together for years to come because we trust each other and we have proven loyalty. Because loyalty is hard to find nowadays. Oh, yeah. All right. So Nida, 5 years from now, we talked a lot about the past. What do you see? What do you see in 5 years? What's your life going to look like? Well, 5 years, I've learned a lot can happen in 1 year. So in 5 years, I can't imagine how much my life will change or not change, but more than likely it'll change a lot because I am a very changing person. But I hope to have a family, of course. I will, in the 5 years when I close my eye and envision my life, I see, a few houses that are Airbnbs and rentals and passive income, and more traveling with my family, and a future husband, and just living my best life, still helping and pouring into others, and just living every day like it's my last, like I do now. Every day I hope that as my business grows, as my income grows,
I, promise to myself that I'll wake up grateful every day and not take for granted the life that I have and the life that I can give to others. That's my biggest thing, is to not lose that sight of being so grateful.
And your business grows to the extent that you do. And I'm sure with the mindset and the way that you look at things, I mean, your business is never going to stop growing. Without a doubt in my mind.
Nida, thank you. Keep providing value, keep kicking butt. You are an inspiration to us all. And you would never guess that English is your second language because you speak it better than I do. And I only know one language.
You need to hang out a little bit more, Jim. Once you hear, how I butcher American sayings, then you'll know.
Yeah, that's so funny.
All right. Say how to skin a dead cat. That one still gets me. I don't know how you guys say that. American sayings get me, gosh.
All right, Nida, where can people find you if they want to reach out, if they want to get more information from you or just have a conversation?
If you want to reach out to me, add me on Facebook, Nida Dogan, NIDA DOGAN. You can also email me at inedahome.com, a little play on words.
inedahome@kw.com.
I'm sorry, at kmail.com, at kw.com. Ooh, I butchered that. INIDAHOME@kw.com.
I was emailing you for like a couple months before I put that together.
Oh, no.
I was like, why is her email so funky? And I was like, oh, I love that.
The girl whose English is second language puts together the greatest email for somebody in real estate.
Yeah.
I love when people catch it, and then some people just don't catch it until later on. It's fun. It used to be, I need a drink when I was a bartender. Now it's, I need a home, or I need to invest, or I need to buy, I need to sell.
That's awesome. All right, Nida. Well, thank you. Appreciate you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Jim and Caleb, for having me. Have a great day, guys.
You too, guys. Take care. All right, guys. So that's a wrap. And don't forget, if you're out there like Nida was trying to figure this whole real estate game out, we help people just like you crush their fears and get to the next level, and we can help you invest as well. So to find everything on this episode, go to doorstodeals.com/059. One of the best resources that we have in St. Louis to do more deals is to simply email us. Deals@3doors.com with your wholesale deals, and we can help you close them lightning speed and for top dollar. If you need some cash to put together deals, just go to that doorstodeals.com/059 and click on the funding link. We can close crazy fast in as little as 5 days and underrated based on the property and not the borrower. And then for you agents out there, it doesn't matter where you live, don't forget to check out our 5 to 5 million challenge, where we show you how to attract 5 key relationships into your business that will generate you $5 million in sales volume every single year like clockwork. The link to this challenge can also be found on doorsteals.com/059. So go out, live your purpose, and above all else, go after your dreams. Till next time. Thanks for tuning into this show. For more episodes and resources that will unlock doors to deals, check out our website, doorstodeals.com.